It's time for the Pat and Patti Show, starring Patti Smith and Pat Hughes. We are here, the Pat, Patti, and I guess Deena show or whatever, and at least Deena Sanfilippo is here, and we've had an interesting week this week.
Woo.
Yep, we're sitting here, and were you shocked at the news that came out on Channel 5 about Mike Jones accusing Todd Pownell of being a criminal mastermind?
That's the part.
Wow.
Well, that's the part that shocked me, that Todd might be a criminal mastermind. Todd may be a lot of things, but I never would have called him a mastermind.
Well, in all honesty, I wouldn't necessarily call the extortion attempt the activity of a mastermind. So I'm.
Oh well, that's true. It was not. It was not a well planned conspiracy. It seemed kind of half baked. Well, so it could, maybe it was.
Well, I'm not going to point the finger at Todd and say he is a guilty man by any stretch.
Oh Lord, no.
But there are so many questions regarding this, including this alleged $500,000 cash stash.
What was that?
Trips to Las Vegas.
PR. I don't know. Did that stand for Puerto Rico? I don't think it was public relations. What was that PR? I don't really understand.
Prostitute. I don't know. PR,
Prostitutes in reserve.
Still, the request of $38,000 was kind of, I mean, if you were going to extort somebody in the county that's got $500,000, why would you just ask
For 38?
People would round up, like round numbers, like
100,000.
100, not, I mean,
20,000.
Anyway.
38 is an odd number. It's like saying, I'm gonna blackmail you for $43.28. Pay up.
Well, that is the other great revelation or amazing revelation is that you weren't on the list. You weren't on the list.
I know.
And neither was
none of the people in the lawsuit.
I know, and
on
neither
the
was the
list.
little pony over there.
Oh yes,
on the
Miss
list.
Ponytail Patriot
But
must
there
have just
isn't- but
cried
there is another
tears.
list that
Oh, there is another list.
Nobody's seen yet. The other company hasn't released it, so.
Was it contemporary in terms of the time that it was done? That's what I'm
not
curious
sure.
about.
I'm not sure. But
what we
the
saw-
timing of the list that was shown on the newscast was right
Including-
around the time that
October 2nd.
No, actually, there was one from 2012 on that list.
Okay.
Oh really?
Oh yes, if you
But
look
then there were
closer-
some within like a day or two of the news about the commercialization.
The day
of the
before, because
airport.
the
Well,
news
the-
broke on October 3rd of the commercialization.
Well, that was when that's when the search was done. Was on October 3rd.
No, the second, Pat.
No, the searches were done. The
We just
extortion attempt was on October 2nd. The searches were on October 3rd for a former county employee.
Okay, and when did the news break about the commercialization? Was it on-
October 3rd.
And
That
you know,
sounds a little too coinciding.
Coincidence.
well, actually, it's
What is
so.
the statistical probability of all of this just happening to happen?
Right
Well,
around
the
the
search
airport.
the search of Todd wasn't until like late October, early November. Number one, number two.
But that makes sense considering he immediately came out and said, "I'm against the way that this was
Right.
done."
Right.
Remember, he didn't say he was opposed.
No,
to
I've
it.
actually heard him.
opposed to the way it was
I've actually heard him say that he wasn't opposed to the commercialization of the airport, and he thought it would actually happen, but he was just upset about the way it was done.
done.
Well, I'm going to say that, in all honesty, one of the last things that I would try to do is public record search on something, on somebody on October 3rd. To try to tie that somehow to this whole deal. I mean, that just seems kind of absurd. I mean, what are you going to find out? That he had a DUI, in 1968?
I don't know, the whole thing.
I don't know, what difference would that mean?
Weird.
It's just odd. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like I would love to know who was behind it
Well,
all,
here's
because
the
they
thing.
have a really
if
twisted
he
mind.
was investigating somebody for an extortion involvement, I mean, what is he hoping to find? Is he hoping to find that somebody is, has tax liens or is in a bad financial situation? I mean, what exactly what exactly are you looking for?
That makes sense in that respect, but so yeah, that a tax lien type situation or a lawsuit that you're involved in might be something worthwhile. But by the same token, I have to say, just as this is a position I've had all along, is government. It's a government records, public, open government records that were searched. Okay, and those records are maintained by government so that government can look at them when government needs to or wants to, and for you to look at them whenever you feel like it, or you to look at them whenever you feel like it, or me to look at them whenever I feel like it. And there's not, I mean, all this, well, the government should never ever look at a government record is kind of like a stupid ass statement.
Well, look who's saying it.
Well,
But it wasn't his place to be investigating his own crime with our taxpayer money.
That I agree with.
I mean, he should have pulled out his own credit card and done that, or turned that over to the sheriff department and let them do it. Of course, we saw how they botched up the
but and by the same token, it was no doubt due to travel. It was referencing travel he did as a county employee and whatever. So, even that. I mean, $20 for a guy that's paid $120,000 a year or whatever is the county manager. I mean, and you're going to bust his balls over a $20 expenditure. That's kind of silly. I mean, he ought to have the authority to make those, whether you think that they're in the best judgment or not. And it's fine for people to criticize them for it, but to say that it's illegal or immoral is kind of stupid. I mean.
Well, based on who's saying it, then I might have to agree with you.
Yeah, well. Okay. But
the end result in all of this publicity that we've had over the last couple of days is it's just bad. It makes Paulding County look bad, and the question is now we've got two different sides of the commissioners pointing fingers at each other. How can they effectively govern this county if they're at each other's throats? And that's what people in Paulding County need to be asking themselves. How can these people effectively govern this county? I mean, I think every single one of them should resign, or the people should stand up and say, I want a recall vote on every single one of you people. Let's clean house. Let's get people who will do their job of governing Paulding County, not at each other. They need to grow up or get out.
Oh, wait, you're asking a bunch of Republicans who are warring in a pitched battle with each other to grow up? Oh, good luck with that.
It's not going to happen, so they got to go. They got to go. We got to get new people in who will take their job seriously of governing this county.
I think that we can wait until I guess the spring primary of 2016, when everybody will go to the Republican polls and select folks, unless there's some Democrats that...
Hello, Democrats, independents, wake up, get your butt to the polls in the spring and vote
for somebody. Getting the signatures needed for a recall vote.
Right. And pay attention to what's going on in this county. Lord have mercy.
Well,
people don't even pay attention to
because this is going to affect people's wallets.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
Why would anybody want to move here? Why would anybody want to move here? Why would anybody want to open a business here when you got all this drama, juvenile drama going on in our government?
I can't think of a reason. I know I was never happy about coming here, but here I am, stuck at the east end of the runway.
I know. Everybody just needs to get them a big old bowl of popcorn and watch the show, because this is no better than Payton Place. This is a soap opera.
This is a lot worse than
Payton. This is a soap opera.
But I got news for you folks.
What's that?
It's better than Texas. They're being under attack from the federal government by Jade Hill 15. They're having their guns taken away right now.
And rounded up in FEMA camp.
You know, Rick Perry once called for... Rick Perry secretary once called for Texas to secede from the Union, and I say it's time to let them go. I say let's just build a big border fence around Texas and let them deal with their own problems.
Well, you know what's kind of funny about Texas, and this is a post that we had on Paulding.com about the U.S. basically being 11 different cultures or nations. It actually has 3. It has El Norte, it has the Old South, and it has the Appalachian, the Greater Appalachian.
In Texas?
Yeah. Well, what it amounts to is that means that it was Scotch-Irish, independent people that lived in the hills and said the hell with government.
Yes.
Okay.
Highlanders.
That attitude and whatever.
Yes.
I grew up in the Old South. I lived primarily in the Appalachian area. We're in the Appalachian area,
Yes, I know.
You know, it's good Protestant. You know, we'll take care of ourselves. We're independent. We're going to take care of ourselves type stuff.
Well, but that's not exactly the way it works out, because if you look at who the taker states are and who the maker states are, we're all takers.
Well,
the most conservative states they take a lot more money than they pay into the federal government.
You're talking about the southern folks, okay? The old South, where the patrician landowner and the peons
had his slaves,
and the slaves that was always took care of,
yeah,
and all them poor people that was always took care of, and they're the ones that are actually, if you look at it, are the ones that are more involved in the the money coming to them.
Right.
Yeah, the people in
But let's talk about the Jade Helm and our tunnels. I mean, the Jade Helm thing, these people have been insulting military colonels, I think it was, that I saw on the TV, insulting this man, calling him a liar, that this is really just a training exercise, people. You're a liar, we don't believe you. These people are nutty as a bunch of fruitcakes.
And didn't Texas pull up their their National Guard
to
monitor
watch them,
the military,
because they don't trust the American military. They hate America. They hate the American military. Why?
They just distrust the federal government, especially since we got this half-white guy in the White House.
Well, that's it. Black man, White House. We don't like it. That's the problem. Yes,
he's a half-white man.
But no, they'll never see the white part of it.
Actually, in reading around, I saw a post from a KKK guy that was endorsing the white half of Obama in the White House and was all for him.
But hated the black half.
Well, I guess, but you know.
Well, they hate America. I mean, that's what that whole flag thing is about. Listen, yes, that flag was flown by people who were trying to destroy the American government. They wanted to destroy America, and that's what that flag means.
Only a very small portion of them that would fall in the category of neo-Nazi, and they did. Did adopt the flag.
Did you see the other day in Oklahoma when the president was there speaking about something good that had happened in Oklahoma, and not that much does, and he was there talking about, and there was all these Confederate flags protesting outside the event.
We went up to North Carolina, and on our way back, we stopped by a flea market. And there was all kinds of Confederate flag paraphernalia. Ooh. I could have bought a Confederate flag bikini.
That says I love my country.
Or I almost bought this pink ball cap that said, it had a little Confederate flag on it, and it says, something about redneck chick or something like that. I almost bought it and
that's what you need to prove that you got more
brain cells or something.
No, you got less brain cells than you got idiot cells or something. I don't know.
But what was interesting is that the merchants for the different booths or whatever, they had these signs up that basically says, if you're offended, you just need to go on, or I don't care, you know. Right. I mean, it was kind of interesting.
They don't care. They love to hate people more than they love America. They love to hate others more than they love their country, if you ask me. But very few people do.
And for a good reason. Okay, where are we? We've talking about, before we leave Jade Helm, the video that Paulding.com's Walmart tunnels were featured in is approaching the 500,000 mark in the Jade Helm.
Right.
We're
the Walmart tunnels here in Paulding.
Anyway.
You can never go. You know, once when I was in college, I had to read this book and write a report on it. And in this book, it said that this executive on like Park Avenue was a marketing executive was telling this guy that you can never go wrong underestimating the intelligence of the American people. And at the time, I was so angry at that. When I read that, I threw that book across the room because I knew that I was smart and I knew my fellow Americans were smart too. And then I grew up and realized how right the book was.
Well, you know, I believe that you're talking about who was the showman is who it was. Barnum, not Barnum and Bailey, but it may have been P.T. Barnum.
It may have been because I looked it up once because I was trying to figure out what book I read that in. I thought it was the man in the gray flannel suit.
I mean, he was being criticized, and it was in response to someone saying, "Well, why do you go out and buy these 3-headed snakes and 2-headed cows and
stuff, really stupid stuff,
and give people money for to be the bearded lady and the all that sort of stuff and the fattest man in the world?"
And he said,
"No one ever went broke overestimating the intelligence of the American people." Okay.
Really, dumb as a stump and fighting proud of it.
Well, speaking of dumb as a stump, actually, one of the most fantastic injustices, and it seems almost implausible that this would be there. It's a thing called lead poisoning that occurred in the 50s and 60s and all this sort of stuff, 70s, actually through, and they're saying, and with good reason, that this is the cause of the explosion in crime in the 60s and 70s and 80s and whatever. And we know that let's say someone is they're mentally. I mean, we just had a case where they said the guy wasn't insane, but if someone is insane. Hinckley, I guess, would be one that was insane when he tried to shoot Reagan. Sirhan, okay? He ended up getting out on an insanity plea. Basically, there's a strong element of law that says if you are not in control of your faculties, you are not guilty.
Right.
For a reason of insanity, for a reason of Twinkies, or a reason of, I think I had some
being
guy
too rich.
Yeah, too rich. That was one.
He was too rich. He didn't know what the real world was like, so he didn't know that killing people was bad.
Yeah,
he got off.
Yeah, and he got yeah. Anyway, what this says is that we've poisoned a lot of people, and primarily poor people lived in. In other words, when the middle class moved out to the suburbs and built new houses in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they had new paint at that point, and then they pretty much have remediated any of the lead paint and whatever since. Housing since 1978 has been lead-free. We started, I guess it was 76 or 77 when they put catalytic converters on cars. That meant that by 1990, basically, leaded gasoline was still legal, but in 1990 they didn't outlaw it until 96. But it dropped down as far as the percentage of cars using it. But we were actually spewing lead, driving through the inner city neighborhoods, back and forth to work and all that sort of stuff, poisoning these people.
Right.
And I mean, it's like a 10%, 7% decline in the frontal lobe of your brain. It makes you.
We're talking about scientific data. I know some of you don't believe in science, but it's real.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a real strong case. In fact, I read a piece from Tufts University Law School Law Journal saying, when is somebody going to put up the lead defense? I mean, it's a lot better defense than the Twinkie defense.
Yeah. Well, because they're poor.
They're poor, and
they don't have lawyers.
And they're marginalized.
There are too many of them, and they are still a danger. And but the fact that I did some more research, and I saw that somewhere like 444 Georgians were identified, were screened, found, determined to in 2013 to have
too much lead.
Too much lead, over 5 micrograms per deciliter, or whatever the thing is. And there were 100 and I think it was no, that was 444 that were over 10.
That had way too much lead, a dangerous amount of lead in their bodies, in their brains.
Enough to disable them for life.
Yes.
Okay.
And they didn't put that lead in themselves. Corporate America put that lead in them because it was just cheaper for corporate America to just spew it out.
No, it was corporate America 40 years ago that painted a house, and a landlord that didn't remediate, that maybe a guy like you or
but the point is
your house probably has lead paint in it.
It may, but the point is that...
Have you remediated?
No.
Okay.
Have you checked yourself lately? Maybe,
no.
You know, maybe something.
Maybe that's my problem.
People who are
that
watching,
may be,
maybe some people watching this video right now says, "Well, that may
be her problem."
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's the freaking helicopters that are my problem.
It is a danger, and lead poisoning is a danger to adults. But
that avgas is very heavily leaded. The aviation gas, very heavily leaded.
Yeah,
and so the question is it's flying through the sky over Paulding County. I'm sure that there's, little
and they dump it in the ground every time they start
down onto Paulding
Every
County.
time they get in a plane, they have to drain a little gas out, and they look at it, and then they pour it on the ground.
And we saw that on the video, and they took it down. They took it down.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
How clever of them.
Yes, after it was pointed out.
And when that tornado came, 500 gallons of avgas went into the ground.
Well, the good news is that there weren't but 2 people with 10 deciliters or more in Paulding County, so it's one of the
I distill my water.
But is that number going to go up if we have commercialization?
Well, that would be one thing that you would look at and be able to point to, because we do need to look at lead much more seriously. The one thing that is really critical, and that was children under 6 that had that. Lead is dangerous to you, me, and everyone.
Yes.
Right.
It is devastating to children under 6.
Pregnant women
and young children, because their brains are in the formative years.
Yeah.
Because in the formative years, your body mistakes lead for calcium.
Right.
And so it doesn't build the brain right, is what it amounts to. And so it's a permanent disability for the rest of your
instead
life.
of trying to help these kids that we have harmed because of our lack of oversight and lack of regulation on these greedy corporations,
we put them in jail.
We just put them in jail. We don't try to help them. We just put them in jail and tell them to go die. Who cares?
Actually, we try to keep them caged until they're
like
35
animals.
or 40, and naturally they tend to be a little bit less. But even as it stands, the percentage. There's good news in this. Yeah,
good news.
I mean, it's in the post that I've made on Paulding.com, but it showed that the 18 to 24 group, the number of blacks that are being imprisoned has dropped by 50%.
Wow.
Because they're no longer. We've done enough with the lead, getting the cars and the lead in the car.
Get it out of the toys, because it was in toys from China.
Yeah, exactly. We've done that, and it has that kind of impact. And that literally, they're able to timeline this.
It sounds like something maybe. What is it? The justice. What is it? Well, it's like the Justice Organization, but there's a lot of different organizations out there that are trying to help people who are in prison that have been unjustly accused of crimes, and that would be something that they really need to.
Yeah.
No,
they need to be taking a look at to see if these people.
Do we really want? I mean, these people are mentally
very high.
These people
levels of
are
lead in their system.
These people are injured. They are aggressive. They are impulsive. They are have little or no self-control. We don't want them out here, quite frankly.
Okay, well,
what are we going to do with them?
They don't need to be in prison. Maybe
They don't
they need to be in a psychiatric facility.
Well, we kind of closed
Because
all those
they're
down in the
brains.
70s.
I know they cost too much.
We do need to look at what we do in prisons. That's where the German prisons and stuff
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier come in, because they were so much more humane.
Right.
We need to treat these people humanely because...
Well, because you know what? If we don't treat these people humanely, it says that we're not good and decent human beings. It means that we are just monsters that just harm.
No. But
Justice would require that we treat them humanely.
Some people think that, you know, if you're not rich and you're not white, then God don't love you,
Right.
and you just get whatever's coming to you,
Well,
Patty. And I
that
mean, you're
is,
seeing a lot of that.
That's
these
the
days.
evangelical problem these days.
Yeah.
If you're not white and you're not rich, then you're not good and you're not deserving.
Mm-hmm.
And you just deserve any miserable crap that comes your way. But I mean, to me, you want to move on to the theocracy
Yeah,
point
we
now?
need to-
I
we
think
need
this
to-
is a good transition
Yep.
point.
Mhm.
Because these conservative people in this country that hate Iran and hate this president for even talking to Iran, which, you know, you only try to negotiate with people you don't always agree with, because if it's people you agree with, you don't need to negotiate.
Yeah, we can always nuke them tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? We can always start a war, but I say you get your fat ass in a uniform and put all your money toward buying weapons to go over there, and we'll consider having a war with Iran. But I think we ought to try to talk to them. But these people in this country who hate Iran so much, most of them, they hate it because it's a theocracy. But it is an ultra conservative theocracy.
That has a relatively liberal and somewhat secular population.
Yes,
that they're trying to control.
right.
And they're not doing a
But
real good
here
job
in
with it.
this country, we founded this country on not having a theocracy, no matter what you believe. And now they want to turn America into an ultra-conservative Christian theocracy. And I'll tell you, I'll put on a uniform myself to help stop that.
Well, the idea, it stems from the idea that, you know, America was formed on Christian values.
But it really wasn't.
It was enlightenment values.
Yes,
of,
that we have a creator, that we have a God, that we need to trust in God, that we need to commune with God and find a way to be a better place, a more caring, decent human, you know, like the real Jesus, not the Republican Jesus. We need to talk about, you know, what Jesus really thought, like love thy neighbor, you know, help the least among, what you do to the least of my children, you do to me, that kind of stuff.
Well, that sounds like some of the things that the current Pope is saying, and
I
that,
love me some Pope Frank.
and that Fox News and the evangelicals are vilifying because they don't believe that.
Right, because they believe that America is a Christian nation, was founded on Christian principles. But if you read the Founding Fathers' words, you find out that no, that is indeed not the case. They feared religious takeover.
You got to look at it. They did kind of like the Nazi Pope that preceded him.
Yeah, they did. Well, that's who they are.
You said that, not me. I just noted that
I have eyes. I can see the similarities.
the Nazi youth person who grew up to be the Pope, they did find a great deal in common with.
Yeah,
And,
they liked him.
Yep.
But they don't like the Pope we have now, because he actually talks about what Jesus really said, not the Republican Jesus, the real Jesus.
Well,
Why do you think that is, Patty? Why do you think that these people who claim to be Christians are so far removed from what's really
From
being
real Christianity?
from what's really being
well,
said
judge
in the
not, you
Bible?
be judged, and it actually comes from the Puritan ethic that came over with some of the original founders. It's a very conservative element of Presbyterianism that says that if you are the chosen, you're special, and you know the chosen because they've got the money. And it doesn't make any difference how you got the money, because if you got money, you are by a priori known to be chosen.
Yes, but doesn't the Bible talk about, doesn't God say in there that which you do to the least of my children, you do to me?
Sure, but you have to remember that you got the Quakers that won't go to war, and you got the Methodists that believe that it's
right. That's why I don't want any particular religion taking over this country.
And we got
they all got their
Puritans
crazy ideas.
You got the Puritans that wanted to dunk people to see whether if they drowned when they dunked
or
them,
a witch.
they were a witch.
Right. I know. They were good Christian people, weren't they?
Cotton Mather.
Nazis
you
also.
Got cotton, the king, cotton skin.
Nazis prayed to God. They thought that God was on their side. You know. I think you ought to stop worrying about whether God is on your side or not, and start worrying about if you're on God's side or not.
I don't know whether are we getting too religious? This is supposed to be secular and fun and.
Well, but we've got people trying to take over this country that are, Bible thumpers, holy rollers. They think that their way is the only way. Are you talking about Todd Powell now? Well, I'm talking about a lot of people.
Quite frankly, when he speaks at a podium or whatever, I sometimes think I'm in church.
I know.
But there was an article that I passed around recently about Mike Huckabee and some of these other prominent pastors attending a conference where they're trying to get pastors
I think
to
1,000.
Yes, it was a large number of people that attended this conference.
No, I mean they tried to get 1,000 pastors to get into government.
Right, and so what does that tell you? That's telling you that they're trying to
take over,
take away that veil between religion and politics and create a theocracy in there.
That's exactly what they're doing.
But even the Republicans aren't buying this. I mean, look who's leading.
A lot of them are.
I know, but look who's leading the polls in Republican land. It is the
Donald Trump. Oh my God!
Now,
Just goes to show.
Now, I'll tell you what. I would vote for Donald simply because I can't stand Jeb Bush and I can't stand all of these other religious fruitcakes that are running on the Republican Party, because they're basically, you have Jeb Bush, you have Donald Trump, and then the other ones, they're all the same. They're all saying I'm anti-abortion. They're all pandering to the same evangelical
they're all
base.
Koch funded.
Yes.
Especially Scott Walker.
I know, but you got to remember that the Koch brothers are libertarians and are not necessarily tied to the religion.
But they understand that you can use religion to manipulate and control people and get what you want, because people, I don't know, will just fall into line and you sit there and you start talking about religion.
Well, listen, you take a person
how
who's
dare you? If you disagree with me, you disagree with God.
Exactly.
You take a person who's filled with ignorance and hate for other people, anyone who's not just like themselves. You identify who it's all right for them to hate, and you tell them that you're there to help them, and you own them.
Well, that's basically what Donald Trump is doing. I mean, he's not going after, I'm against abortion and blah, 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 but he is doing the same kind of pandering that the other ones are doing. He's identifying who it's all right to hate.
Oh, he's a whore, no doubt about it.
And if you look back in history, every time you have an economic downturn, who do they blame? They blame the last group of immigrants.
That's right.
All the country's woes.
Yes. Throughout the history of our country, you blame the most recent group of immigrants.
You blame the Italians, you blame the Irish. Yes.
There was a post on Paulding.com that was talking about the racism in the Middle West and upper and North, and they were saying it wasn't because of Southern migration. Do you realize that one of the largest migrations of any people anywhere in the world were the 6 million blacks that moved from the South to the North in the period 1910 to 1970. In other words, that out-migration from the South to the North.
Right.
And that was the source of the racism or whatever in the North, because prior to that, they didn't really have any blacks.
Right.
Of course,
and they suddenly felt
But the idea
put
that
upon.
it wasn't Southerners migrating from the South that caused racism in the North. It was It was just the wrong Southerners.
Yes. It was just
that were doing the migrating.
Them formerly owned people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bringing their culture.
Yes. This country was founded on slavery, basically. I mean, this country was built up from nothing because they had free labor. And the rich people still want free labor. If you don't get that, you're not paying attention.
Look at the for-profit prison system. Yes.
Right. So, and this is a horrible experience here of the for-profit prison system because we don't need to be putting all these people in prison. There's been research done that we could do better. It would cost less if we help find these people a home, give them a place to live, help them find a job in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We would be much better off and spend less money on these people if we would help them live instead of helping them into prison.
But that's not going to make large amounts of profit for Fortune 500 companies.
Right. So
and it's all about the for-profit, Fortune 500 companies and
greedy bastards.
Making sure that they do well, because the government no longer works for us, Patty. It's all about just working for
actually, the government worked a marvelous miracle by getting the lead out. And if you've ever seen it, you see the curve goes like this as far as violent crime. Now, if we had not gotten the lead out, what would that curve have done? How much money would this percentage of people being violent, killing people, stealing, being, that is what the EPA has saved us.
Yes, I know.
It would be in
and they
trillions
hate
and
the
trillions
EPA.
of dollars.
Most of the Republican candidates would be happy to get rid of the EPA.
We need to build a statue to them. Hell, let's
because
start.
they want this country to look like China. I mean, people need to go out and Google what the environment looks like in China,
or what it was like when I was a kid.
Yes.
I can remember not being able to see Atlanta from just a mile or two away from I-20 on this hill. You couldn't even see Atlanta for the smog. There were rivers. When I was a teenager, these rivers were on fire. I mean, it was so polluted. Still, the Coosa River Valley in Lake Weiss is still so freaking polluted that it says don't get in it, don't eat fish from it, don't get near that water. But yet, they want to get rid of all regulation. Well, what's the matter with people?
It's a free-for-all for...
I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. It is saying, this is my property, and I can do with it whatever I choose. Now, if I have you as property, I can do with you whatever I choose. In fact, we kind of treated women that way about a century ago.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I'm sorry, you build a biodome over your property, and you pollute your biodome all you want to, but as soon as your pollution and stuff starts going into the atmosphere where everybody is breathing it, then
you're in favor of government regulation. You have completely destroyed all your libertarian cred. You are no longer a libertarian.
I'm not a libertarian anymore.
Okay. I thought you were more.
No, I've seen the fact. I am socially liberal, but some of the economic part of libertarianism is downright dangerous.
Yes.
Well, like the externalization of your costs on everybody else.
Right. For example,
you got away with that. Oh, tradition. It's the right of my property. I can do with what my property I want to. If I want to set this on fire and pollute and kill all you.
Right. Right.
It's my right because it's my property.
It's like,
and my property rights are paramount.
I know, but to me, this is like next door to me. The person next door to me, without any kind of regulation at all, without any environmental protection at all, the person who lives on the land next to me could pour big drums of toxic material into the ground and let it seep down into the ground. Or build an airport that does the same damn thing. And they could poison my drinking water. They could poison my drinking water, and without a regulation, there's not a damn thing I could do about it. Why? I mean, to me, no regulation is just pure stupid.
Yes, there is. You could go back in time to where was that in? How
does that work?
Well, you go back in time to the place where they drank all that Kool-Aid.
Oh, well.
Jim Jones. Jim Jones. There you go.
Well, they're still drinking Kool-Aid, but now it's called Coke Kool-Aid.
Okay, well, with that Coke Kool-Aid, and we don't want to, this has nothing to do with Coca-Cola Company.
No, it has to do with KOCH Kool-Aid.
The
The Koch brothers who fund all of this Candy Goldman's training that she went to, all of the Heritage Foundation and the Freedom Works and the Faith and Family
And how
all
about that conference that a lot of our Georgia legislatures went
Allie.
to a couple of, month or two, couple
That's
months
all.
ago?
That's
Yeah.
all
month ago.
Coke Kool-Aid funded.
Not all.
But they don't
They
like
get
it,
lots
but
of
they
funding.
don't.
Good.
They
A
get
good
lots
amount.
of-
They
A
get,
good
they get
amount.
lots of funding from other companies.
You are
too.
correct.
But
You
the
are
Koch
correct.
brothers don't like it when people point out
No.
their involvement in
No,
these
and
kind of things.
and what do the Koch brothers believe in? They're John Birchers. Their daddy founded the John Birch Society. You ought to learn about what those people think before
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
drinking their Kool-Aid.
They knew about Prescott Bush too. So, but anyway,
He made a lot of money off the Nazis. Yes,
Yeah.
indeedy.
And I've always loved the idea that what's Ford's name?
Henry?
Henry was his picture was on Adolph's wall.
Yes, yes. I
But-
know. But yet some people just see him as the greatest guy ever.
Well,
He
you know.
did some good things and he did some stupid things. That's
You know
kind
about
of the way
Adolf?
people are.
You're
What?
talking about Adolf, aren't you?
No, I'm talking about him and Henry Ford.
Oh, okay.
People make mistakes. Every day when you wake up, you can make a choice in the morning. Am I going to be stupid and evil today, or am I going to be godly and good today? That's your choice.
Actually, all of us, by definition, are both.
Or
all the
flawed.
time.
Well, that's why
And
you
we're
have a choice.
perfection
Every
eludes us
day is
all.
a choice.
Perfection eludes us all, and on that, I think we need to say goodbye.
Adios, amigos. The royal wave.
No, yeah, you just.
Oh yeah.
You got to sit forward.
Oh.
No, you're off camera there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all in the wrist.